Good morning, guys. This is Danny from Deep South Homestead. We are out here this morning getting caught up with our gardening work. Our green beans were barely hanging in there. You can see on the leaves here, we've been in like almost 90-degree temperature for like 3 weeks, and we've had absolutely no rain. Last night we got a rain shower come in here, and these beans have been on here for quite some time, looking like these little bitty ones here. That's the way they were looking yesterday. Well, we got 1.1 inches last night of rain. We come out here this morning, and this is what we've got. We've been watering these every other day, and they just hadn't been growing. But when that rain come through with the thunderstorms last night, I mean, you look at the size of these green beans. They did that overnight. We're going to pick what few we got on here. I know it's not going to be many, but we're going to go through here and get them off where the rest of them can start growing. We picked a few in the bucket there. Not a lot yet, but we've only been on a few plants, so maybe we'll get enough to actually have a few. And we don't pick our green beans when they look like this right here. That's just a little bit too small. You really lose a lot in volume when you pick them that little, but you also don't want to let them go so big that they just get tough. I see one right here, and here's one. See, that's a good green bean. Got another one here. That's what we're after. Right now, it looks like we're going to be after quality because we're not going to get quantity. One of the problems we're running into here in the pots is these beans are so tall and so heavy, and the wind's blowing so hard that it's actually blowing the plants over. And that's going to be one of the problems in the pot. We tried to pack some dirt back around it, but the wind gusts come through and they just blow it right back over. So that's going to be one of the downfalls about being up high up off the ground in these pots. I'll show y'all here. Out of the 50 pots we planted, we had about 40 of them that actually the green beans actually lived in. Kind of giving you a little overview there. We got a few pots that didn't make it in for one reason or another, but this is why we did this series on container grown green beans, is to kind of give y'all an idea about what to expect. I mean, because we didn't go back and try to fix the pots and, you know, make everything look perfect. We're just showing you reality here. This is reality. Now, we picked this morning. This is our second picking off of them since they started bearing. And I want to show you, this is what we picked. This is a 2-gallon pail. It is probably 3/4 of the way full. The reason I'm doing these videos is to show you, if you want to just eat a meal or two every so often, then doing this right here is okay. But if you're wanting to survive off of your homestead and live and be able to have food to eat as well as can for the winter months, this is not going to work. Wanda and I usually pick probably 5 to 10 of these when we plant them in a garden, in a rows in a garden. We done the experiment this year. Shot ourselves in the foot by not planting in the garden and putting them all in containers, just so we could see when we get to be older and we can't get out in the garden, if container grown gardens would provide what we need to be sustainable here on the homestead. And the truth is, I'm not trying to be harsh, I'm just trying to be honest, because y'all asked me to do this and I'm doing it, and I'm giving you an honest opinion about this. It won't work and have enough to eat and can to survive for a year, because this right here is not going to put but just a few jars for Wanda and I. We're used to canning anywhere between 100 and 200 jars of these things every spring. And with this year, on this right here, if we get 20, we will be lucky. That means I'm way behind. Now, I'll still have a few jars to munch on this winter, and the only reason I did this experiment this year is because a couple of years ago we put up over 300 jars of green beans that our garden produced in the ground, which means we still have probably 200 to 300 jars of green beans in the cellar that's going to get us through the year, even though we only get maybe 20 from these this year. So, just a reality check and to be honest about the way a homestead works. Homesteading is hard work, y'all. Homesteading, people paint this fairy tale picture that you can come out and put some containers or raised beds in, and you can raise all this food, and you can live off of this, and you can do this, and you can do that. But let me tell you something. The bottom line of reality is our weather is changing. It's getting harder and harder to raise things because of pollutants in the atmosphere, just lack of good weather to grow anything in. And it's just tough. I'm just trying to be honest. I'm not trying to be harsh. I'm just trying to be honest as I can be and just tell y'all we're trying to see what will work and what will not work. Because when you got a new homesteaders coming out there and they find this video, I don't want to paint some fairy tale picture that life is going to be really easy and it's going to be really good and that they're going to be able to get out here and do this stuff and they're going to just flourish by putting these few pots in. Because there's 50 pots right here. And I'm going to be honest with you, I figured we would probably get 50 to 75 jars out of this. I'll be honest with you. But now that reality has set in, and I'm only getting this much, this is the second time we've picked. We've got no more each time. Each time it's been about this much. And it snapped out to be about a gallon of snap beans. And a gallon, you know, that's 4 quarts. That's not even a canner. But we go ahead and do it anyway because we got to put some jars up. You know, so the last ones we did, we dehydrated. These will probably snap and we'll get them ready for canning because we just canning them. You know, we are doing a lot of dehydration now, but canning, we've realized also that if we need quick meals, we can come in just a matter of 15 minutes. These can be poured out of a jar, heated up, and ready to eat. Where with the dehydration, we have to rehydrate, and then we have to recook them and everything. You know, so we're doing it both ways just in case something happens.
We have our green beans washed and snapped. They're ready to go in jars. I have my jars, my salt, all my canning stuff ready. I'm not going to show you the canning process. I'm going to put a link in the cards to our how we can green beans. We did this last year, so I'm not going to show you that again today. But we do can our green beans. We raw pack them, and I think we process them for 20 minutes, but check the video to make sure. This is one way that we preserve green beans is in jars. I just checked with the ball book. It is 10 pounds of pressure for 20 minutes for pints, 25 minutes for quarts. And if you don't have a ball book, this is the one I have. This is where it's showing green beans. I'll show you the front. Of course, this is an old one. We have about 4 of these in different colors. So whichever book you have, it's okay. They all say the same information. Always use a pressure canner when you're doing vegetables. Water bath canning is okay for tomatoes and fruits, but vegetables need to be pressure canned. Alright, we did some dehydrated green beans, and I put them in small packs like this. These are English peas and carrots. The green beans, we only did a couple of trays, but in these Mylar bags, we took one of the carrots, one of the English peas, and one of the green beans, and they were already sealed like this in the vacuum seal bags. Then we sealed them in Mylar. These are for long-term storage. We're going to see if these won't go for quite a while compared to just simply leaving them like this. we're going to have to put these where the sun doesn't get to them because you don't want light hitting your vegetables. It will pull the color out of them. That is why we used the Mylar bags. And we only did carrots, green beans, and English peas. That's enough for, say, 2 meals, each one of them for us. So when I open one Mylar bag, we can eat for several days on those veggies. And we plan on doing some that way just for extreme long-term storage.
So just want to give y'all this little bit of an update here on the green beans. Just trying to be truthful, y'all. Hope you've enjoyed it. Thank you. From Deep South Homestead.